Okay, so we're up. We're live. So now we're gonna get into the old school Born of Osiris. So let's talk about let's get into the original. So we're gonna look at this goes back to 2004. This is the very original Born of Osiris. You know, God only knows who really ultimately knows about this. I imagine this would be mostly when they were out of Chicago. So this would have been pretty local at the time. No one really would have came across this that well. I don't think.
Probably just playing in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they did it, and for the most part, I don't know who was leading the charge ultimately on this. My guess is most of it was probably Cameron Losh, but I don't really know. You have to ask him, I guess, at the end of the day. But he seems to be the brain. He for the longest time he was the brain of the operations with all of this. But yeah, let's get into it and break this down. So this is the original Glorious Days, but when they were called Your Heart Engraved.
I still think it's one of Born Retired is the most underrated songs for sure. It's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's got to be up there. Oh, here it is.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Think about it being 2004 as well. Actually, like have that sort of electronic, sort of like the synthy sort of sound that they had in 2004. You got to think about the times where it was. Like, goddamn impressive for what it is.
Yeah, can't tell even smacking the fucking drums. Holy shit.
Yeah, and
So raw.
Yeah, if to that point too, like they were just kids at this point as well. They would have been 15 or 16, I imagine.
I mean, the basis of the song is identical.
Yeah, for sure. I do think the re-recording ultimately, like, obviously there are songs of this era that did require it. Obviously, like, it did make sense for them to remaster some of this stuff. Like the mix could have been better. There's no doubt about it. That's also why I think songs like Sights and Sounds really should have had a better remaster at some point, just because the mix themselves, like the song is amazing. There's no question about it. It's just the mixes that they're in, weren't quite getting there just yet. Like it took New Rain, it took A Higher Place to get to that golden era.
Like you said, they were teenagers. It's not like they had the money to be in the studio or something. Like they were probably just
which is still shocking. Like the fact that they came out with what they did at the time is just, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, like who else was making music like this?
Yeah, yeah. Was Bleed Through around at the time in 2004? I feel like they were.
Yeah, I think so, probably.
It kind of it's reminiscent of that classic, Bleeding Through sort of sound that they have.
Just a little extra bass and just that kind of just
yeah. Little bit washed out sort of feel to it, but like it has that sort of feel to it. But it's still, again, for 2004 at the time, it's still unbelievable. And the synth thing, adding the keyboards to it at the time was definitely unique with metal. Like no one else was doing it.
That was awesome. It really breaks it up. It's like
the
same reason why I like Fireman Famous by having what's his voice on it to break up the heavy so that everyone could listen to it.
Yeah.
Let's finish it and then we'll listen to the new one.
Yeah.
We'll break you all down.
Oh
Interesting.
shit, man.
Like you
That was
can,
incredible.
yeah, but you can see they were kind of. It sounds like 5 or 6 different songs just like thrown in there, right? Like it. You can see. I think.
Pure experimental.
Yeah, definitely. They were just kind of just going all over the place with it. Yeah, it's interesting. I think they took bits and
So
pieces,
cool.
obviously, of all these different songs that they had on this EP, and then ultimately turned it into more, concise songs themselves. That was really interesting. Yeah, like ultimately,
It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear and pinpoint like attach the rest, like the back half of that to newer songs. But I'm sure a lot of that did lead to a lot of the newer songs. Just don't know which ones.
there's definitely. I think obviously the first 20 or 30 seconds of
First
that
half
was
Glorious
actually
Days.
Glorious Day. Yeah, like what they ended up using for the newer one or something.
Right,
Like
right.
there was a couple parts in there that turned into New Rain, I think, and then
They're
and
just
might
finding
have.
that sound, I guess.
Yeah,
Finding
definitely.
that sound.
Like there was definitely parts in there that ended up being other songs for sure later on within New Rain for sure at least.
Well, you hear that mid part where like Glorious Days where they have a little bit of a guitar solo there, and like you tell it's much slowed down compared to like the newer version of it. But this is where it seems like the evolution of a band. Like they're evolving their sound, they're finding their sound, but they're also like the skill level obviously just went through the roof between the original Glorious Days and the new version because it's so much faster. You know, it's one thing to
Yeah.
have like recording all that.
Well, the
Mastering
other
all
thing too is
that,
at the time, I'm pretty sure they obviously recorded this in their own basement, probably, with
yeah,
whatever they had. The New Rain, that was obviously all done. Even the New Rain was all done with Sumerian Records, so obviously a professional company that was going to do it, the recording process right. And to that point, Sumerian is the company in the golden age of metal, right? Like when things were at their best, it was Sumerian that was ultimately pushing out like that recording, right? Like Sumerian is the reason that we have, the Common Man's Collapse and like the golden age of Born of Osiris, and same with Velamaya up there. Era as well. I'm pretty sure Era was on Sumerian as well at some point.
yeah.
So again, like Sumerian, ultimately in terms of recording ability, like finding the right metal sound, like they had it. God only knows where it went, but it was Sumerian ultimately that was the reason for how good it ultimately ended up sounding. Really. Hi there, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is James with the Breakdown Brothers. If you like what you saw, give it a like and a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. And stick around. We're going to break down the new Glorious Days by Born of Osiris next.